What was your niche when you started the agency for a little bit?
Bro, my niche was anyone who would pay me money.
Awesome. How you doing today, guys? I am excited. I'm excited for today's guest. We have here a really, really amazing person. I can say he's kind of a friend of mine, by now. Gavin is here with us. He's an entrepreneur who owns a business, and he is very young also. So he's a very young, successful person. Gavin, how you doing today?
Kevin, doing awesome, man. I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate the intro as well. Looking forward to diving into things and answering any questions.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's start with this first, man. How old are you, Gavin? I don't even know how old you are, bro. You look like you're 21 to me.
21? That's damn close. I'm 20. Yeah.
You're 20?
Yeah.
So Gavin can't even legally drink yet.
That's true.
And he's already running a six or seven figure business.
Six figure, not 7 yet, but we're on our way. Okay,
I thought it was 9. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, 9. Give me 10 years. We'll get there.
Nah, that's cool, man. That's awesome. So Gavin, tell us a little bit about your journey, man. How did you get started with everything you're doing now? And then we'll kind of tell the audience a little bit more about what you're doing in a moment. But tell me more about your path. I know you're young. You're very young. Still, for you to be doing what you're doing at a young age, that's pretty cool.
Dude, I appreciate that. So really everything, so it was kind of funny. As I grew up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I always thought like, damn, I want to do anything but business. Business just sounds like people being miserable in suits. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So like, I was thinking maybe chemistry, and I really was passionate about like potentially being a therapist or something like that. And then my junior year of high school, here I am, broke high schooler, around $300 in my pocket, not really a lot of money to my name. I come across a YouTube video that says how to start an online business with $0 down. And I'm like, interesting, probably a scam, but I'll check it out. That business method, I was on the rabbit hole, man. I'm like, it's 8 minutes long. I'm like, fuck it. So I check it out. And it was about drop shipping, right? That business model. And I'm like, this is sick. How come not everyone's doing this? I'm like, I didn't dive into like 100% there, but I'm like, this seems actually legit. Like, this is really cool. Let me look more into this. And so basically, to make a longer story short, I started my own drop shipping store. I did all my research, followed what the YouTube videos told me I should do to have a successful drop shipping store. And I'm a straight A student, basically, like up to that point in my life. And I got basically an F on this, which was the first time for me that I really got school is not necessarily easy for me. I just would work very hard at it. And this was the first time I had a quote unquote, I didn't have a rubric to follow, right? And if I did follow the rubric of what the YouTube videos told me to do, the marketplace doesn't give a shit. And I was not providing either basically convincing people I was going to provide enough value with what I was selling, or actually just having an enticing enough offer, right? So that was my first experience in entrepreneurship. And I had one sale. It was my mother. So that doesn't really count. And then she
bought into the dream though,
She did. Yep. The $7, it was like a clothes hanger. It was called Modern Dream Room. It was a room decor store for women ages 16 to 25. And it was just I knew nothing about that shit. I don't even know why I did that. I was like, they'll probably buy this. Yeah, so basically then, do you want me to kind of dive into how that segued into where I'm at today, or?
Yeah, man. I mean, so that was your senior year, you said, of high school?
That was my junior year. Yeah, I actually, after that, I ended up basically going back and starting a different store called Gary's Gadgets, which is more of a general store. It's actually still up. I keep it up and I paid the domain each year just because I like looking at it as a memory. But it's garysgadgets.net. Yeah. So it's still up there,
someday I might just do something with it.
It's like just a cool place for me to look back at and be like, yeah, that's where it came from, in a sense. Like, I've come a long way. And I started that though, but this time I ran Facebook ads to it. and I actually about broke even. And I'm like, dang, like if I had a more unique product or service, then I would be able to like actually run Facebook ads effectively. But because everyone in dropshipping is doing the same thing, it's just about how you can outmarket each other. So I'm like, I wonder if I had a more unique brand or service, right? So I just started approaching some local businesses, and that's basically how I started in the agency space, which now I'm at a point where I'm focusing a lot more on, the branding side of things, helping get people in press and get people strategically introduced to others, help them launch successful podcasts, things of the sort. But that's kind of like how I segued into all that.
Got it. Okay, yeah. So you did. So at one point, I know I met you now, and you actually, Gavin's doing some amazing job for us with PR. So if you guys are definitely interested, talk to him.
Appreciate it, brother.
He's not the cheapest guy, but he's the best guy out there.
That's facts, though.
But as far as, so you did have an agency. What was your niche when you started the agency for a little bit?
Bro, my niche was anyone who would pay me money.
That sounds like everybody when we started.
Bro, my first client, I ran a whole Facebook ad campaign, was posting on their socials, like, I don't know, like 4 times a week or something. And I was getting paid like $300 a month. It was like 600, like including ad spend and stuff, but like 300 was my first client, which to me, I was like, holy shit. Like I had $300 before. And at that point I could have got a job and I did, basically when I lost my money, I got some odd jobs like weed whacking, mowing lawns, to refereeing basketball to make back money, to reinvest and try things out again. But that was just like my first breath of air. Cause I was like, literally bro, I had like $100 when I closed that client. So it allowed me to have enough breathing room to get the next one and so on.
Yeah. So how many clients did you get to, or what did you get to in the agency before you said, you know what, I think it's time for me to just turn the page, Yep. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I wonder how many the exact number was. I don't think it was a whole lot. It was around. Did you even hit like 6 figures on it, or where were you at with it?
I was at around like 10K a month before I was like, okay, I need to try something else. Cause I just realized like I was so like spread thin and it was going to be really hard to actually like scale above that. And I mean, by far, I still have a lot to learn and really like scaling and things of that sort and, building out team and whatnot. But at that point, that's when I was like, okay, like let's dive in. And I'm like, what niche should I choose? I'm like, I don't really know. I went through a lot of niches, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. I just,
You were like the opposite of what Joel says. Like
basically, yeah. Well, see, I agree with what Joel says, and each niche works. You need to figure it out. Mm-hmm. I do think that different personalities will work better with different niches too. Mm-hmm. Things of the sort. Like for me, that's why I love working with people on branding and press, and even just like personal branding things. Is I love just working with entrepreneurs. Like it excites me. And when I was in like the contracting niche, for example, I just did not have much in common with those people. I still like wanted to really serve and actually provide value and help their businesses because they're people at the end of the day. And I like helping people. But yeah, like I've worked with a lot of attorneys before too. I actually like that niche a good amount. It was just really hard for me to get appointments with those people when I was in it. So I'm like, maybe this will be easier. And it was easier with contracting, but then I had worse luck in sales on that, right? And like relating to those people. And
sometimes it really does like, and I'm huge on like, I get like some people say like, oh yeah, stick to one niche or whatever. But sometimes you do have to kind of figure out what's going to work for you, right? I mean, bounce around a little bit, figure it out. And because I also want to, there's no point of scaling the niche to 7-8 figures if you hate it, right? I mean, you're gonna, and like they say, right, you're not gonna always like every single niche, so it's never gonna be perfect, but at least when you can kind of relate, right, it's a little bit easier, like how yourself,
For sure, bro. And that's one thing too, playing on that. I do think, so this is one thing I hear a lot, like, hey, money loves speed. And that's totally true, but you want to be going fast in the right direction. And figuring out the right direction, sometimes you need to get started in order to just figure that out. But when you can actually strategically take a step back to think about how do I want to go? Like, what offer do I want to have? Where is there a problem that's not served, where there's potential for money? Like, and you can think about your direction and where kind of that need and your interest interlock. I feel like that helps a shit ton because, you don't want to climb up a huge ladder to realize it was on the wrong wall.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So that, I mean, yeah, you just gotta kind of, I guess, gotta figure out what works for you, right? More than anything. For you, I guess, how long ago did you figure out that PR was what you liked? You know, what you wanted to do?
The funny thing is, I actually was doing PR before COVID even happened. And I was in that niche, and we had some good traction, right? And we actually closed this one deal. It was like 20K. And this is just an inexperienced business owner move. To be honest, you know, I've been doing this for over 3 years now, and I still continue to learn more and more. But at that point, I basically closed this deal, and then coronavirus happened, and we had in our contract that basically this person, like, we had them published in certain publications by a certain amount of time. And we were going to hit that. Then coronavirus happened, and all our media placements got pushed back hard. And we weren't going to hit these deadlines anymore because all this urgent news was coming out that was filling up the slots that we originally had basically scheduled out for what we were going to do. And I'm like, damn, like this is out of, and so we ended up actually like refunding that person and a few other clients that we had. And it just was a kind of an experience where I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing PR anymore. I'm like, I don't like that, which was the wrong move. Like, I should have stuck with it then and figured it out. So I've had a background in it for a while, but I'd say maybe like 6 months ago or so. I don't know if that's the exact amount of time, but that's really when I was like, you know what, PR is what I enjoyed. I know there's money in it. I know that it's beneficial for people when they leverage it properly, because that's a big part of what we do, is not just help people get in publications, but make sure that they're basically using that to accomplish the goals that they have in their business and solve problems.
You want to make sure that they're using the PR correctly, right? So that way,
yeah,
it's not just like, oh, hey, let me get some PR, but I'm not gonna do anything, basically.
Yeah, it's crazy too. It's like what's really interesting about press in general, and I feel like people don't talk about this a lot, because, and it's actually kind of one of the industry secrets, and I'd be happy to share it, is,
hey, check it out, guys, he's sharing a secret, so you want to pay attention.
And this is huge, and it's really that you know, the media uses all of us. I want to use the media to my advantage, right? And one thing that people don't realize is when you have the right connections in this space, you can literally form the narrative around you and what you want in the way. Like, let me give an example of what I mean by this. I can get an article published. Say I didn't know you, but I wanted to know you, and it's hard to get in touch with you. I can get an article published that says, you know, the marketing joint ventures, like the top 5 marketing joint ventures that we want to see in 2021, right? And number 3 on that list happens to be Gavin Lira and Kevin Rodas, and just happens to be that. And then I'm like, hey, Kevin, like, and then I shoot an email over to your team. I bombard you guys with different messaging. If you don't answer that, I mail it to you. I print out the feature and mail it to you in circle and be like, hey, let's connect. Looks like the universe works in weird ways, right? Just things like that. And there's so many ways that you can use press to even leverage, like, how you can talk to people for strategic introductions, and then also how you're perceived. And I can dive into that side of things as well, and how you can leverage that best. Or like, if you have a new podcast, you can get press on your podcast, right? One of like the top up and coming marketing podcast in 2021, Meet Kevin Rodas and his, you know, blank podcast, right? And then you can use that to help get better guests on the show, right? And then your podcast grows quicker. So it's like but yeah, so there's basically what I mean is a lot of people don't realize the extent of when you know the right people. Like, bro, do you know you can pay to get on Good Morning America?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Isn't that shit crazy?
Yeah, you can pay to get on anything, dude. Like, once I found that out, it was like, dude, I had somebody actually reach out to me and tell me, like, dude, we can get you on Fox News if you want. We can get, it's gonna cost you money, but we can do it.
Yeah, it's not cheap at all.
Obviously, yeah, but once you get to that extent, when you have that kind of money, and you know how to, like you said, you also have to know how to leverage these things, right?
Yes,
because it's one thing to get on there, and that's cool, but you gotta leverage it. And then it's a huge saying too, right? Like, just like money loves speed, press loves speed too. Like, if you get published, you gotta get that out there ASAP. Show it to everybody as soon as you can, because You know, like once you show an article that happened a month ago, it's like, I mean, it's still cool, but not as cool as like when it just happened. Everybody wants to tell you like, oh, okay, you know, they want to do business with you at that time.
Yeah, man, it's something that it's really interesting. The point you bring up of how it changes the perception, because it's funny. There's literally, so for example, I had the founder of Make-A-Wish on my podcast, Frank Shankwitz. His Instagram has like 300 followers. And like he doesn't post anything about press. And my point in saying that is, here's a person that's achieved like one of America's top 100 largest nonprofits, right? And he sits on the board of 9 other huge nonprofits. Yet, if I just came across his Instagram, like most people don't know his name. Most people don't know his Instagram. So it's almost like you have to train people on how you want to be perceived, in a sense, like your audience, right? Because you can come across an 8-figure entrepreneur's Instagram and not know it, because they're not showcasing either A, through their content, and B, that other people are actually saying that about them as well. And it's not just them who's saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it really helps with those introductions. And as you're aware, I feel like we're both very relationship-based people. I mean, relationships, I do believe relationships and credibility are the new capital when we're stepping into this day and age where everything's online.
Yeah, everything's online. And, you know, I've always been huge in relationships, you know. I think that's something that, I don't know if it was yesterday. I've had the pleasure of seeing Gavin almost every day this week. So I guess
Gavin and Kevin take over
tomorrow. So but,
that's true.
But yeah, no, we were talking, and I think I was telling you, like, I realized that for me, like my gift in, you know, I believe in God and all that stuff, and I think we all have a gift. And I think my gift is I can connect with people really easy. It's just really easy to connect with people, and I'm very vulnerable too. Like I drop my walls. Gavin knows that.
Yeah,
I just say how it is, dude. I don't have shame. I don't care, you know. I call myself out, you know. You kind of have to use, you know, at this day and age, like you said, right? You connect with people, and having those connections and having those, they're huge. And mostly now that it's a digital world, and it's become even more of a digital world after COVID, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to connect with people through a phone or a Zoom or a Facebook message or a whatever, it's big time. It's big time, because you know that connection can build something big.
That's facts, man. It really is. And it's crazy, just as simple as, you know, offering to basically even lead with value first when you meet somebody at times too. I mean, that's like, for example, Kat, right? We work together. Our team's mainly comprised of 5 people right now, right? Myself, Kat, Grant, Marvin, Kyle. And how I met Kat was literally just, you know, I can't remember who actually reached out first, but one of us reached out after some coaching group that we were in, which is how we mutually know each other, right? From 7FA, I think it's Agency Lab now. And literally after that, I was just like, yo, like, I know you're a killer in sales, and I like crushing on the fulfillment side of things. Like, we should connect and like help each other out or whatever. I'd be happy to show you this for free, right? And it just is like those relationships like can fucking change things.
It's big time, man. And you know, I built like my first relationship I built online like that was about a year ago with this guy named, he was actually my podcast. He's probably the longest podcast I had. It was an hour and a half. It was with my buddy Steven. And he was the very first person I met like that on Facebook that I trusted like that. And to this day, it was super cool. You know, he gives me some coaching and stuff like that. And it's crazy because you also you realize, right, that, you know, like when you start building relationships with people like that, certain things just connect that work. And then you also like yourself, right? Like you guys are young, right? And there's more of a younger audience online. And like Steven, he helps me out with a lot of coaching, dude. And he's like 6 years younger than me. I don't care, bro. I'm like, this one knows more than I do when it comes to that. So like, yeah, dude, help me out. You know, and it's and I met a lot of people in that same group like you did. You know, I was telling you, I've connected very well with Sam, and I think you find people you connect, and even us, we connected through some of the I think that kind of really close. We would talk and make jokes and stuff, and then we started following each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, and then Gavin was like, I guess he's alright. I'll message him.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, it's actually funny. I actually think our conversation thread initially started because I saw you got featured in some press, and I was like, congrats, bro. And then basically,
that's how it works.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we talked before that, maybe over Messenger too, or I definitely commented on posts you made.
Yeah, dude, the guy that helps me out, his name is James, dude. He's fucking awesome too, dude. There's a lot of fucking great people out there, dude. James is fucking great too. I'm actually talking to him on Friday as well. I wanted to get both of you guys the same week because both of you guys do PR.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool to get like two podcasts back to back, kind of the perspective of PR from two different scenarios, right?
Yeah, that is a cool point as well.
Yeah, so he's he also is into it, and he like loves it too, and he's he got me to Disrupt, and that was pretty cool, man. That was the first article I had, and now it's like a lot of big. Now we got a lot of big moves coming, right? A lot of big articles, a lot of stuff going on, and we'll save that for later. But what's the goal, man? Like, where are you trying to take the company now? Like, where are you guys trying to go as a team? Right, there's 5 of you, so
yeah.
And I know you guys definitely kill it with appointments and stuff. I mean, that showed me. So
yes, yeah, we are booked out, which is awesome. Like, we're always looking to talk with more people and whatnot, but we basically though to answer your question on company goal, I think it can be defined in 2 different ways on my personal long-term goal, and then also the company goal in a bit here. And even if you want me to, as well too, later on in the podcast, if you want me to hit on anything that's like how to even like for somebody who wants to get pressed for free, right? Or even anything like that too, how they can start, or anything that I hit on, feel free to ask away. I'm fine sharing.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I don't know, for sure. Like, whatever you want to share that you feel comfortable sharing, dude, I would love to know.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of business owners that I've had here, and then definitely there's a lot of people that listen to that are business owners. Mm-hmm. So, any tips that you can give them on how to, like, mostly if they don't have the funds, right? How can they get on there for free, right? How can they get that of it?
Yeah, I have a really good strategy that I'll be sharing. I'll write it down here. I got a notepad next to me, so I'll come back to it. But I'll answer the goal question here. I just thought of that. But basically though, the goal in the long term, starting with that, is for me similar to you. I'm a person that I believe is really led by my faith, right? And I just remember I was in church one day, and there was a priest that came from Tanzania, Africa, and he basically was telling a story about like the work that they're doing there, and how he was mugged twice, like had to go to the hospital once because of that, had like malaria before, almost died, like all these things, and he still stayed in Tanzania and still delivered like what he thought, and delivered food to these families, right? And all this stuff. And then he shared something. He's like, like $5, or I think it was around $5. And this was a few years ago, so it might have changed. But $5 can feed a family of 4 in Tanzania for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? I'm like, that's crazy. And when I learned that, I really was like, and then later I was introduced to entrepreneurship, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, I feel like money amplifies a person. And it makes a good person better and bad person worse. So I'm like, how can I really become this entrepreneur where I can work with, and this is down the line, like when I'm even older, even though I'm involved in some stuff on smaller scales now, like sponsoring children, things of the sort. But how can I be a person that can just provide a shit ton of value and then also solve problems that make people's lives better, right? That's the thing down the line. And I don't even know, I don't think I want to be a billionaire. Who knows if it's 8 or 9 figures or what that looks like, right? But I just know I want to make a real impact with that, and I feel a real calling to do so. And I know that all the skills that I learned now will really help compound over that. And I really know that building a brand is so fucking important, because it's the one thing that is the difference between you paying $200 for a pair of shoes at Nike or $30 of a pair of shoes at Walmart, right? It's the brand behind it. It's how it makes you feel. So that's right now in the short term, we're working on building our brand, right? Through press, content, PR, and then really helping others do the same through similar strategies that we use to do for ourselves, and also set appointments. Because I know in the long term, that's what's going to decommoditize us. And that's going to be something that I can carry into anything I do to bring more awareness to it and to help others as well. So right now, the main focus is actually, I'm starting on TikTok basically starting on that. So maybe by the time this goes live, if you guys check me out, just Gavin Lira on TikTok.
I'll check you out because we just started our TikTok as well for the not just for the podcast, but for the business period. So
yeah, it's a platform. It's funny. We've done consulting on it with other people and even just helped them a bit on like drawing the roadmap between commonalities we see. And they've had some crazy results. Like a dude who went from like 0 to 200K followers within months. And I'm like, bro, I gotta do this. I'm like, this is awesome. But basically though, man, just that's the goal in the short term, right? Is to do that, clearly hit the seven figure mark. And then from that point, look at our business, reevaluate and say, hey, what do I want with my life? Do I want to sell this business and move on to something else? Is this something that I want to, because to be honest, I don't know what the next, 5-7 years holds. I just know that I love entrepreneurship. I love helping people, and I have avenues to do so right now, but I am super passionate about basically like the therapist side of things too, and like helping people one-on-one. So I want to figure out how I can bring that same type of understanding to one-to-many content as well down the line.
I think it's crazy how you're only 20 and you have so much time, dude. And that's the biggest thing you can't get back is time, right?
Thanks.
Dude, like there's so much things I wish I would have done when I was 20. Luckily it is what it is now. I'm doing what I want to do now. Right?
Dude, you fucking inspire me though, by the way. I just love how honest you are. And it's just fucking awesome because you're just out here like you have a struggle, you're sharing it with people. And I know that inspires others because when you succeed, then people are like, damn, like Kevin's been through this, that, and look at him now.
That's my goal, man. I know she's been sharing goals, right? I mean, that's something I don't think I've shared in the show before is, my goal is pretty similar to yours. And dude, I had this huge goal where I wanted to be a billionaire. That was my goal. Like money was everything to me. Money was everything. I was like, and I think that came from me working at the bank and finance and everything. I would see all this money people had. And so then I was like, money was everything, right? And I grew up, I don't want to say poor, but I was like very low, like middle class. Like we're living in a apartment with my mom, right? My mom was an entrepreneur too. She had a house cleaning business and stuff. She still does. She does but I can't say like, oh, like it was horrible. We ate, bro. We had food. She bought me shoes, everything. So it wasn't like horrible, but definitely didn't have like a nice house or this stuff. But so like money to me was like a goal that was my biggest achievement that I wanted to do. Yeah. Then, I had a good job. I hit 6 figures a few times in that job. And then when I left, I didn't make any money. And I didn't even know what I was going to do. I just jumped ship and I said, let me see what I'm going to do, right? And then now, dude, my goal, and I was actually talking to a friend of mine, Samantha, yesterday about this. I was like, I wanted to make $250 a month so bad in this agency. And now I don't really care to do that, dude. I want to hit, and I have a number in my head, but I don't want to say it, but I know I want to hit this number. Yeah. And once I hit that, I can kind of just make sure the agency is kind of running itself, run the other business. But the biggest thing for me is very similar to you, man, is, people, sometimes they may think that I'm very money hungry based on my posts, but they don't realize that money helps other people, man. And some of us want to help other people. And in order to help other people, you need to have money. The more money I make, the more employees I need, the more people I can employ, the more people I can go help out in the world, right? The more things I can do, obviously, I want to live a comfortable life, but I live a simple life, man. I don't, and anybody that really knows me, knows that I don't care for fancy cars. I don't care for, like, only thing I want in my life is a cool truck, man. That's one thing I want. And that's it. It's like, I love trucks. I want a really cool truck.
You should come up here to the Midwest then.
I know, right? I gotta go.
I'll be right at home.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no, I live, I think I told you I live in the middle of nowhere, man, in a small town out here in California. It's like 20,000 people. So it's like, I think to most people, it's pretty obvious what kind of person I am. I'm out here living with my guns and my truck, and I got cows all over the place and horses. So that's the life I like, dude. But now, man, it's same as you, man. I just want to try to help out people. I want to try to help out people. The more people I can help, the better. Do I want money? Of course. But, I wanted to be like, I was like that too. I was like, I wanted to be a billionaire. That was my goal, man. Saying, oh man, I got to make $1 billion. I want to be a billionaire. Then you realize the more money you start making, you realize the sacrifices you have to make with it. And one thing was, and you know this because you follow me on Instagram, my daughter's huge.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thinks that the business name after me. It's actually, that's my daughter's initials. Same as mine, but you know, same thing. That's why I left my job. That's why I became an entrepreneur. It was all because of my daughter, you know? So, if you keep growing the business, you can only have so much family time. I mean, you think Jeff Bezos and all those guys get to spend hell of time with their kids? Probably not. You know, they probably don't, you know, and I'm not saying they do. I don't know their life, right? But the problems get bigger the more money you make.
Especially on the come up for them too. Like in order to build out the leverage, so that way they could even enjoy more of the leverage.
Yeah.
Like the sacrifices and yeah, man, that's a really good point as well. And that's why I say I don't think I want to be a billionaire, because I know that if you're going to be a billionaire, you better just breathe work. And I really do enjoy the work I do. And especially as we're helping more people, even with stuff like helping them get strategically introduced to other people, right? I fucking love relationships. Yeah. I just love seeing like, hey, we directly introduced this person to this person with our process. And that ended up in a really strong joint venture that's now bringing them appointments consistently, right? Or now they're doing like, I really love that shit, but I feel like there's going to be a point in my life where I want to do something different. You know what I mean? And it may not be as quote unquote work related. Yeah.
And I think that's the part of it is an entrepreneur thing. And I think part of it is just a personal life thing, right? You know, there's like the whole agency thing, right? Like I'm cool with doing it for a little bit. I want to keep growing it. I have this hunger for it. I've probably made less money there than I've actually made, but you know, it's cool. I want to figure it out. And you know, I see all these people that figure it out. And I'm like, all right, well, obviously they're doing something right, I'm doing something wrong. I'm gonna get it together.
Yeah.
You know, like I will get to a point where I'm like, what do I want to do now? You know, and I think that's just an entrepreneur thing. You know, you just want to change your mind. You know, like even with the investment stuff, right? I do the finance, the taxes, all that stuff. And everybody's always like my manager does very well there, very well, multimillionaire, very like really proud of himself because he's come from the hood, as he likes to say, right? He's come from the ghetto. And but I can never see myself like that. I just feel like for me, it's always like, okay, now I want to do something else. Let me see what else I can grow. You know, let me see how else I can go help.
Yeah, man, it's boring to just sit on a beach. It's fun to do it like every now and then, but like for that to be like the main thing in your life, for me, I would hate that, right? I mean, it just is like, and the more I grow up too, the more I disassociate from things I used to do and people I used to hang around with a ton too. It's just as like, you know, you'll start to surround yourself clearly with people that are similar interested in what you're doing and have value alignments. And it just is like, on your point, what you do and how you do these things, it just is like you're going to find what works for you, and then people are going to filter out and come in if you're going to do that. Because if you let the old people stay, if they're not willing to grow with you, then it just is going to be like crabs in a crab bucket pulling you down.
And I like that you brought that up as well, because and I think you saw my post already that I posted on Instagram about it said you know, I'm not always a big fan of all the sports on social media, but sometimes it's kind of cool. And it said something like, if you want to find out who your real friends are, start a business.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, it's so true, bro. I was like, that's so true. I was like, dude, it's like you really, but you really, when you want to take a certain route in your life, you start figuring out like who you want to associate yourself with. And I mean, like I said, you're still so young, so it's crazy. But even myself, when I was working in banking, little by little, I started changing the people I was working with, hanging out with, right? And, you know, I was buying houses and stuff when I was like 23 years old. So I had other things in my other plans, you know, and now a lot of those people that I was friends with at the banking time too, they've gone away because now I'm doing this and this is different and they don't relate. And it's crazy because, you know, like you don't not like them or anything. It's just, and it sounds, I don't want to sound mean, but sometimes you start having conversations with them and it's kind of boring. Like, it's not something you want to talk about. It's like, dude, I want to talk about business. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about, how we can do that, how we can help other people. Like, and like something you were talking about with the whole beach thing as well. Dude, I've gone on vacations, but I always have my laptop and I'm always working.
Yeah.
That's part of like the entrepreneur thing, right? Like, you have that mindset that you just, I don't know, you just like to work. You just want to work.
I know I haven't been in this space for like a super long time, right? But I haven't experienced burnout. And I literally like just work a fuck ton. I don't know how many hours a week it is, but it's basically my life. And it's partially because I really enjoy doing it. And then I need to build up the leverage, build out systems. You hire someone and it ends up not being a good fit, whatever. Like, there's just a lot of things involved in that. And I think what you say when you're going on that process. So there's one thing you said in there that I kind of want to hit on more, which is really just that your environment is by far the number one thing that will dictate your success. By far. But when I first heard that though, I remember like people tell you, like, what is it? Like, you're a combination of like the top like 4 people you hang out with or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is I heard that and I was like, yeah, like I'm sure like there's merit to that, but I can just hang out with whoever I want still. And like, I can be the one that ascends, right? Because like I'm in control of me. However, it's funny. I talked to someone recently and they were like, hey, I think I need like a therapist, right? And I look at who they're hanging out with. I'm like, bro, you don't need a therapist. You need a better environment.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're surrounded by, okay, so one thing I'll say about myself that I'm really proud of is I genuinely do very much so love myself. And I really like am just fulfilled with my life and I want to help other people and things of the sort. And I'm like, if you surround yourself with 4 people with that mindset, like, and you're going through shit, guess what these 4 people are going to do? They're going to raise you with them. They're not going to leave you alone if you're associating with them. You're open to leveling up, which is why the environment is just insanely important. Back to relationships, right? Back to meeting people online. All that shit is extremely important. And it just is something that like your environment will either hold you down or lift you up, but it's up to you to decide which environment you're going to place yourself into.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right, man. And no, I remember that because I remember like when I worked at the bank, man, it was always like this little people that always had like little like cliques, right? And all this and that. And I was just minding my business, dude. I just did my thing. And I surrounded myself with upper management. And that was it, right? And then same thing with friends. And then same people, with the people in the agency world and stuff. And I remember starting to talk to people like, like Connor, right? And Steven, who are doing really well.
Yeah.
Sam, all those people. And then you realize, man, like they all just want to help, like, and like I remember like seeing people just trying to help me out, and I'm like, and them not expecting anything back, and I was like what's your end plan, right? that was me in the beginning, right? And then you realize that like people who are truly successful and happy with themselves, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out there who are successful who don't give a damn about anybody else but themselves. There is. It's just life, right? But there is probably more people who are successful who want to help other people be successful. And they really just get almost like a high of just helping other people.
And it's also like at a certain level, money only does so much. It's like, oh, awesome. I went from making 28 million to 34 this year.
Yeah.
Like, but when you can help someone, you can literally see someone's life change. It's like, damn, like now I'm like having a purpose, like, cause like what they have anything they can basically buy, like anything they want, they can basically buy that's relevant.
Yeah, dude. Even these people just making like 6 or 7 figures, just seeing that.
Yes, that's
really
true
cool,
as well.
Just seeing people making, $500,000 or even just 300K, right? Or 400K, but then they're like, hey, let me help you out. And I know something like Gavin touched was like, you want to hang out with people that are going their way. And I think a lot of people also get this mindset of like, oh, well, but if I'm not like them, then why would they want to hang out with me? But it's not that. It's your mindset, right? Like that's one thing. That's one thing I've noticed is people that are making all this money, that are all successful, they're not looking to be like, oh, this guy's got to make as much money as me for him to want to hang out with me because I got to hang out with people like me. And then it's not that. It's is his mindset a 6-7 figure mindset, right? And I know that's something a lot of people that are successful have touched on. I know I've heard Joe talked about that as well. Is your mindset like, I want to be there, right? Am I gonna, now obviously everybody has their own path, right? So you may not get to 7 figures or 8 figures till you're 50, but who cares? You have that mindset. As long as you're not quitting and you're constantly trying, these people kind of want to help you.
That's facts. And it's funny too, because it's like, the only thing I'll add to that too is part of the mindset is how can I provide value instead of what can this person do for me, right? Yeah. Like when you approach somebody and you're like, damn, like this person's awesome. I just want to surround myself with stuff like this and like just learn, right? But you don't come in and ask, because let's be honest, if we're approaching a situation, there's something that we're getting out of it. It might just be feeling good for ourselves. It might be money. It might be a whole bunch of different things. It might be a mix of both. But when you approach situations and you're like, how can I help this person? You find a way that you can help that person. And sometimes too, there's value in just being a friend, right?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. 100%, dude. Like that's something I do myself, because, like a lot of people, man, I'm gonna tell you guys, like, don't believe everything you see on social media, because I am not as successful as it looks like I am, because I'm not.
I think that's like everyone on social. There's always setbacks and things in business. Sure, you make money, but it's like then you lose money on a certain thing.
Yeah, no, I'm doing all right. I keep going, but I'm not doing as good as a lot of the guys that are helping me. They're killing it. But I know it's just weird. You just eventually get to a point like, I know in my mind that I will be there.
Yes.
And that's the thing that will not let go of my head.
Yes.
I have setbacks? Absolutely. Yesterday was a horrible day. But at the same time, I just took it as like a learning day. It's all right. I just got through it, whatever. Next, gotta go work out, and then on to the next day, and but it's man, it's all just like as long as you keep asking for help, people are gonna want to help you, as long as you're making an effort to also change, right? And like myself, and I told you this, like I caught myself getting lazy. I got too comfortable, and that was my mistake, and I told this to Sam, and I was like, dude, I got too lazy, too comfortable, and then I realized, I was like, oh shit, I can't do that. As an entrepreneur, you can't do that. And I was like, so if people are willing to help you, man, people who are successful always want to help, man. It's do they want to, eventually they may want to make money off you, but hey, if you're making more money, are you really gonna trip about it?
Yeah, it's facts. If you're paying them money and they're helping you make more, I mean,
that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it with my CPA, right? It's like I give him money, he saves me a lot on taxes.
No, dude. I mean, that's always the mindset I've had too. I'm a total buyer, bro. Like literally, if I think someone can benefit me, I will find a way to buy it. You know what I mean? It depends on the time and a few different things, and like needing to make sure that you basically don't over leverage yourself and like all the different things you're balancing. But yeah, man, it just a funny note on that. Yeah, and I think the main thing is asking too, like you said. Optimize your profile for good impressions that you're reaching out to someone on.
I need to fix my profile. Gavin told me.
What did you say?
I need to fix my profile. Gavin told me already, guys.
But the thing is that whether people like it or not, when somebody sees your profiles, you're getting judged. And that's because people do that for their own safety. We make assumptions all the time. When we drive, we make an assumption that the car passing us isn't going to swerve and crash into us, right? And we make assumptions about the earth. So when people see you in your message, you better bet that they're making an assumption about you. Be someone that you would want to be connected with. Even if you don't have lots of followers, even if you don't have whatever, just put out content that shows who you are.
Yeah, I know Gavin cut on real quick of who I am from my content.
I did what? Sorry?
You cut on real quick to who I am from my content.
Oh, yeah, exactly. See, this is a great point. Before Kevin and I talked, because of the content he put out, I was able to see the person who he was. And that attracted me to actually reaching out when I saw that there was a good opportunity to. It was something like, oh, that's really cool. There's this feature, dude, congrats. And then we started talking from there more.
Yeah.
Right? I probably wouldn't have reached out if I like didn't know who you were and I saw that. I would have thought that's cool. Like that person must be doing something awesome. But then I would have just went on with my day. But when you can have a warm audience and you can basically, though, my point is, yes, it's your personal brand that really got me to know you before knowing you.
Yeah, no, and that's something I'm big on, and that's something why I've also gone towards, wanting to do more PR because, something I want to touch on from like earlier that you said was, it's all about branding, man. And like for me, like this right here, dude, just this thing right here is what I'm trying to build.
Yes.
Just not just for the marketing, but for the podcast and for the investments. Eventually that's what I want to do. I want to do it on my own. I want to have that, and everything's just trying to is when you think KR27, you're gonna think Kevin, and when you think Kevin, you're gonna think, oh shoot, that guy can help me with money, that guy can help me with marketing, that guy has a show. Have you seen him? It's like when you think Joe Rogan. What do you think when you think Joe Rogan, right? He has his own, he's branded, like his name is his own brand, right?
Oh yeah.
Joe Rogan, you think UFC, you think Fear Factor, you think his podcast. I mean, and you think MMA fighters. He's already has that image, right? It's a lot of different brands like that, and branding is everything. Like you said, it's are you gonna pay $200 for those Nike shoes, or are you gonna pay $200 for the same exact shoes except they're from Amazon?
Yeah.
$20.
Yeah, and so, dude, if it's cool with you, I can share a strategy that people can use to start getting impressed for themselves.
Sorry, I get cut off guard. So yeah,
no, it's all good, bro. It's all good. I just figured now would be a good time to even.
I know you're in a time crunch as well, so I gotta make sure.
No, bro, it's all good. It's all good. I'll make sure that we deliver the value for anyone who's listening here today.
Yeah, so this is something I know Gavin wants to share with everybody about how to get some free press and things like that. So go ahead, man.
For sure, bro. So really, the way that this can best be done, there's a lot of different ways to like reach out to different contributors, right? Reach out to editors at different publications. However, there's a site that actually makes this very easy for you to do consistently. And that site is called helpareporterout.com. It's commonly referred to as HARO.
You want to repeat it one more time, bro?
Yeah, it's helpareporterout.com. And that's commonly referred to as HARO, right? HARO. So HARO is so journalists have problems. They have deadlines on things that they need to have out, and they need people who know their shit on certain topics that can help answer questions that they're looking to get answered or contribute to pieces of their article that they're looking to get. So instead of reaching out to all these people, they can post something on HARO, and it will show you, you basically get 3 emails a day. Morning, afternoon, morning. I don't even know what the last one's called, but I know that there's 3. and so you get these emails, and they're basically broken up into like, here's the business category of journalists that need help. Maybe there's a question, and there will be a whole bunch of questions like cryptocurrency. Will Ethereum like remain to be the quote unquote silver of the crypto space, right? Or something like that. Or it might be like finance question. Bull market heading to an end here, nearing the end of 2021 ? And they're looking for people's opinions. Or they might ask marketers, what's the best way to advertise lawn care companies on Facebook, right? Like, and then there's so many specific questions. If you go in there and just check the emails each day, you can look to what applies to you, and you can give a really good answer. Now, that's basically what you sign up for. You sign up as the quote unquote source because they cite you. And that's how you can get featured. Typically, the only downside of this is they aren't full features, which for SEO purposes don't rank as well. But to get your press base started and to get the as seen on logos, things like that, it's a really good tool. Because you can even get featured on Forbes and Entrepreneur from these publications. USA Today, Inc. magazine, I've seen features for. So there's some really big publications. It is really hard to get featured on this method, but it is possible. And I do know someone that's done it before. So
I really hope that you guys are listening to that, because it's literally giving you guys like almost like free press. You can literally he's saying you can literally almost get on Forbes, like you possibly get on Forbes.
Yeah, it is genuinely possible. It's not even some like bullshit like, oh, like you'll sign up and you'll see that there's people from Forbes, because it tells you which publication they're from Forbes, asking for help with their articles.
And Gavin's not getting paid to do this, guys. So it's like, it's
that's true. It would, if anything, probably negatively affect, instead of saying, come to me to get featured in Forbes. But basically, with that being said, what you want to keep in mind when you do this is a few things that will drastically help your chances of actually getting featured. These people are on timelines, these writers. So you need to make sure that you're submitting quickly after it's done, because let's say they're looking for 2 answers. They get those 2 answers, and let's say you are like another person to submit later and you have an amazing answer, the best answer. They don't care because they've already got their 2 people and they're moving on, right? So you need to be, once these emails come out, that's when you want to be responding. The other thing with this, well, there's multiple, but I'll share the main ones, is you want to write it in a way where they can literally copy and paste it. So you don't want to write, hey, Mr. Kevin, thank you for this opportunity. I think that this would be great. I think this because blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't want to have it in just like a response to the question. You want to say, like, if they're asking about the best, way to decommoditize your brand in 2021, be like, hey, you could say something along the lines of, personal branding is not going anywhere. Personal branding, in fact, has been shown to help with blank, 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 right? And then you just include some other stuff, just something that they could copy and paste to answer their question, right? Not like just answering it as like an answer on a test. And then, you want to be concise, right? You don't want to have a whole bunch of paragraphs, but depending on what it is, they may tell you how long they want it to be. And the last thing I'll say is, in your first sentence, it's okay to say like, hey, I really appreciate you, posting this out. I actually, run a 6-figure branding, marketing, and strategic relations firm, right? This is like something I would say, right? And I've worked a lot with blank before, right? Something that's related to what they're asking about. So that way you're giving yourself credibility, and you can do that. And then basically you'll make a media kit, which can showcase, you can send them at the end, which is a link to your picture, to actually get featured in press, like which pictures they're going to use when you do get a mention. And then also it shows them what other publications you've been featured in, because they're way more likely to feature you when you've already been in other publications than feature someone who's brand new, because that's a risk to them to introduce someone to the media that isn't that common already in the media. But once you've been in these different publications, it's like, oh, like they've already been published here, they've already been published here, sure, I'll give them a publish as well. Got it.
Okay. That's good to know, man. Even for myself, that's good to know. But if anyone that's listening, man, I know there's a lot of, I've been truly blessed that this is growing pretty fast. And I think now that we're posting the videos out there, I think it'll grow even faster. But I hope that people kind of take advantage of that and see if they can if you can't afford, Gavin or another PR agency out there, you just need some free press. That's really cool,
Yeah, it's a really great tool. I've definitely got like features just from doing that, spending 15 minutes a day, right? Checking and just applying my knowledge to someone else's answer.
You're hearing that? 15 minutes a day, man. It's
to 15 minutes to start helping decommoditize your brand, right? Like, that's a really cool, exciting thing about it. And if you guys literally want a guide, so we've used this as like a lead generation magnet in the past, but I'll give it away for free if anyone wants it. Is basically a guide that walks through this process and basically what I just said, like the step-by-step on how to actually do that. Just hit me up on Instagram, just DM me being like, Kevin sent me. And
just DM on Instagram. And I know one thing I know I usually do is, well, if you want to tell people where to find you, I will also be posting videos now for the podcast on YouTube. So catch my YouTube channel, subscribe, and you guys will get alerts and stuff. And then I'll also be putting everyone's information on top, so that way people can find you guys. But awesome. If you wanna, if you want to provide your information, man, where can people find you? So if they need your services, or if you guys want a free guide, no catch, just for you guys to help you out, man. Hit up Gavin. What's your handles, man? So you can...
Yeah, for sure. So on Instagram, if you just type in Gavin Lira, it's technically Gavin with a period and then Lira, a little dot in the middle, but Gavin Lira will come up first thing. Facebook, you can also connect with me, Gavin Lira, on there. And then the best place to check out my company, if you guys are interested in getting some more information on that too, is you can look us up on Google. We have all 5-star reviews. We have like over 22 now. The Empathy Firm, you can look up The Empathy Firm, and it's just empathyfirm.com is the best place to check that out directly.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And if you guys can't find them still, just message me and I will find them for you. I will find Gavin. He's not a hard guy to track for me, so I'll find it for you guys.
I'm elusive. He's like, not this week, bro. We've literally we're talking the whole week, but
it's usually like this every week, but just this week. If you guys need him this week, I can get him for you. For sure. This week I'll find them. But no, man, I'm glad. I'm happy. I appreciate you being on here, man. And Gavin actually also has a podcast himself, so
Yes, sir.
you guys can listen to that as well. It's the Millionaires podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's Future Millionaires.
Future Millionaires.
Yep, Apple, Spotify, any of the major players, you'll find it. Similar to this one, we interview some pretty kick-ass entrepreneurs, especially if you're a younger person listening to this, even though we still have, for the older audience, like literally some killer content. I just know that's what the show's centered around, is helping young people develop in their business and personal lives. So if that's you, definitely give it a check.
No, for sure, man. And I'm really glad we've connected, man. I'm really glad. I hope we can keep this relationship. You know, it's really,
hell yeah, dude.
It's awesome. You know, you're really cool people. And like I said, something we talked about at the beginning of the podcast or middle podcast somewhere there about relationships. Relationships are very important, man. Relationships you build with people, you know, and sometimes people come and go in your life, and sometimes they come back again, right? You know, but you gotta build relationships in life, man. It's very important.
Facts. And what you guys are seeing Kevin do with this podcast, all the relationships he's building on the back end, strongly consider starting your own and building those own relationships for yourself as well. It's a great excuse to talk to people.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's definitely and for me it comes easy just because I enjoy talking to people. I love knowing about people's stuff, dude. I'm like, oh wait, no way. Oh, that's so cool. and I'm like genuinely think it's cool. Like, you know, I don't have to BS it. I'm like, oh, like, I really think it's cool. I'm like, dude, no way, that's awesome. You know, like dude, this podcast started from an idea from a friend, Connor, and then now it's kind of become more of like I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I actually enjoy it a lot more than I actually even enjoy the agency. A lot more. Like it's really like my thing. I think it's something awesome, I want to build upon. That's something that I want to continue to make bigger. You know, I don't know how far I'll go. I don't really care. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop it. But you know, it's probably like, honestly, like I like this more than I like the finance and the
interesting.
Yeah. It's fun. I think it's because I enjoy talking to people, dude. I just enjoy talking to people, and if I can help somebody, you know, that was when I started this podcast. Actually, that was my goal. I was like, I don't care if only 2 people listen, 3 people. That's fine. You know, like I was like, I'm gonna make connections regardless, right? That was my idea. Right. And then as it kind of started going along, I started seeing more and more people listening to it. And I was like, oh, shit, like there's more people actually paying attention. Right. And then people started messaging me and saying, hey, dude, like we're listening. Now, just kind of the only thing I ask from people is like, dude, if you could share it, that'd be even better. You know?
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, and it's become more of like now, like I'm more of like, if I can help one person with this podcast change their life, to me that's you know, it's not even for the money. I don't even
definitely will.
You know, so I don't even make money on this, dude. I'm just doing it for fun. So
hell yeah, man.
We're gonna start the KR27 podcast donations too, though, guys.
On
Patreon for sure. But cool, man. Well, I appreciate you being here, man. I really do appreciate you sharing some free knowledge for business owners out there. I'm definitely going to share this with them. And little by little, I'm actually uploading all the videos on YouTube. So you guys will see them all on there. I think it's like 15 episodes now. So like, I'm trying to catch up. But you guys can definitely listen to them. And, you know, you'll get all the information you need. And if you guys have any questions, trying to reach out to any of these guys, like Gavin or anybody else that's been on the show, just let me know. And Gavin, any final thoughts, man?
No, man. I mean, the main thing is, I think back to, this is the last point I'll make, is really back to the environment that we talked about earlier. This podcast is a great fucking tool to build your environment, right? And to start talking with these people that you may want to be connecting with, or even if you have a business, to strategically use it as something to get more appointments with qualified prospects, and build the relationships with them. So yeah, man, I just really appreciate you having me on. And thank you so much for giving me the platform to, you know, talk with some people. And like you said, the main goal is to either give someone some tactical advice in their business or to help someone out in their life with how they're going, or, you know, what they may be going through.
Yeah, dude. It's not all about money, you know. Sometimes it's just like, if you can connect with something we said and it helps you out, you know, that's great, man. And I definitely blessings to you, man. I'm really proud of you. you're 20 years old, dude, and it's like you're very mature. You know.
I appreciate that, man. I really do. Yeah, I'm excited for the future for us both.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll come out there pretty soon, and when it's not snowing, and
I'll get you some cheese curds.
And we'll go watch a Packers game and go shoot it.
That's awesome. Yeah, my brother, he literally like builds guns and shit. So he would definitely love to go shooting with you too.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm down, dude. I'm not the best shot, but I'll shoot. I don't care.
Yeah. I'll go shoot his guns every now and then. I'm not the biggest into it, but I do find it fun.
Yeah, no, I'm not like I'm not good. I just like to do it. I'm not good at shooting. I never said I was good. I just said I like to shoot.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not good at it, but it's fun, you know. Sometimes the Bay Area side of me comes out, and I hold my gun sideways too. You know, I'm like,
that's damn funny.
I'll hold my AR like this, dude.
I had to turn away from the camera so I didn't spit on my screen.
All right, man. Well, it's a pleasure, man, and thank you so much for everything you're doing for us as well with the company.
Dude, of course, I'm so excited to continue working with you guys, and yeah, just appreciate you having me on.
All right, man. You have a great day, man.
You as well. Thank you very much.